Well, good morning and happy Tuesday to you. We are going to continue in our new chapter 11 with 11.2, and we're going to talk about decimal forms of rational numbers. Now, we learned yesterday that a rational number is any number that can be written as a ratio of an integer divided by an integer. Basically, can be written as a fraction. So today, we're going to turn rational numbers into decimals with several different methods. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at 3/8. Let's go to a decimal. This is a trip back to 7th grade math because we did this a lot last year. 3/8 is simply 3 divided by 8. And so you can use your calculator, it's fine. I went ahead and wrote out the work. But 3 divided by 8 means to go decimal. I can simply divide the denominator into the numerator. 8 into 3.000, and I get 0.375. It's a terminating decimal. Now, let's go to 7/11. Well, that's dividing 11 into 7, and I get this repeating pattern of 0.63, 0.63. And so I'm going to write that as 0.63 with a bar over the repeating pattern here. Notice I only write 63 one time. If 63 only two digits repeat, you only write them once. 63 with a repeater bar. Don't write 63, 63, repeater. Okay, 3 and 2 9. So what would I do here? Well, the 3 is the whole number part of this. So I'm just going to put the 3 right here and then put a decimal point. And then the 2/9 I'm going to convert to a decimal. And so just let the 3 hang out. And then we're going to just convert 2/9 to a decimal by dividing 9 into 2. And I get 0.2 repeater. And so we have here 3.2 repeating 2. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the opposite. Let's convert a decimal back to a fraction. And that is pretty easy when we have a terminating decimal here, 0.38. Simply put 38 over the place value of the 8. It's 38 hundredths, which reduces to 19/50ths. Also, I have 0.425, sorry, which is 425 over 1,000, which is 17/40ths. And so there we go. That is simply converting a decimal to a fraction. Now, let's go over here to the other side, and let's get a little bit more complex. This is the new thing. This is in Honors Algebra 1, we're going to learn how to convert a repeating decimal to a fraction. Okay, now, there is a special method we're going to use, and I'll be looking for this on your work. The first thing I do is write a simple equation. My number is equal to 0.542, with the 42 being the repeating pattern here, repeating digits. Now, notice I put my n equals in a little space here because you'll see why. I'm going to write something above it. I'm going to write another equation. Now, what I do first is look and see how many digits repeat. 2 digits repeat. And so what I do is I'm going to multiply my equation to 10 raised to the power, well, that's kind of hard to see, moving over, 10 to the power, and the power is the number of digits that repeat. 2 digits repeat. So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 10 squared, or 100, and put that equation above it. And so now up here, I'm going to put 100 in. I'm going to line up my n there. And then I'm going to put an equal sign. Now, when I multiply this decimal number by 100, look what's going to happen. I'm going to come over here, and it's going to be 54.2, and then it's going to repeat 242424. So we're going to go ahead and line up our decimal point. Up here, I've multiplied this side by 100, now this side by 100, I will end up with 54.2 and then 424242. And we have a repeating decimal. Now look at the beauty of this. By shifting the decimal point over to the right 2 places, I am now have the 42 as a repeating decimal. They're lined up, which is what I want. So now what I'm going to do is subtract the bottom equation from the top equation. Well, 100n minus n is 99n. And over here, when I subtract, The 42 as a repeater is going to cancel out. And I'm going to go ahead and you can use your calculator here. But 12 minus 5 is 7. And then I get a 53.7. Okay. Now what do? I'm going to divide both sides by 99. And when I divide both sides by 99, I get n is equal to 53.7 over 99. Well, that's a weird thing. It's a fraction and decimal combo, and we don't ever want that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and see how to reduce this without having to get out my calculator for you. And so I'm going to make this equal. I'm going to go this direction because I'm getting low here. No, I'm not getting too low. I'm going to keep going down. You can see it. And my number is equal to 537 over. Let's multiply the top by 10 and the bottom by 10. Okay. So this is going to become a whole number, 537 over 990. That is my fraction. However, it will reduce, and that's where I'm peaking here. This reduces to 179 over 330. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what you can do here when you get a fraction that's like that. Enter that fraction in your calculator, 537 divided by 999. Hit enter. You'll get a decimal number. Hit math, enter, enter, like we learned yesterday, and it will reduce it for you. Okay. Let's try one more. Over here, I have negative 0.375. All three digits are repeating. I want to create a fraction value for that. Now, I've got a negative here. Let's just let the negative, let's just get rid of it for a little while. We'll stick it back in the end. It'll be a negative fraction. We know that. Okay. Now, the 375, all three digits repeat. So I'm first going to write my number is equal to this. I'm leaving a little space here, just like I did here, because I'm going to be shifting everything to the right. Now, how many digits repeat? 3. So I take 10 as a base and raise it to the third power. I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 1,000. So this side will be 1,000 n is equal to, okay, well, let me move this over a little bit. Squish that there. I'm going to multiply this repeating decimal number by 1,000, and the decimal point is going to go to the right 3 places, and I'm going to have 375. Then I'm going to put the decimal point, because that's where it would go, and then what would repeat to the right of the decimal point? The 375 would keep repeating. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract. Boom. And I have 1,000 minus 1 is 999 n is equal to, and this is going to cancel out. That's the beauty of it. When I subtract, and I get 375 over here. Now, n is equal to 375 over 999. And the question is, does that reduce? And I'm peeking. And it does. It reduces to 125. We're just dividing by 3. 125 over 333. Now, what have I got to remember to come back and add to this fraction? The negative sign. Oh, I'm in the glare. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you can see it. Negative 125 over 333. Okay. Now, let's go to one last thing, and you're going to like this because you did this in 7th grade, and that is rounding repeating decimal numbers. Okay, I have chosen the repeating decimal number 0.416 with the 16 as the repeating digits. Let's round to the nearest thousand. And so we know that this one, I'm just going to write it up here. This would be 1.4161616 on into infinity. I only need 3 for an ellipsis. There we go. Now, to the nearest thousand, well, that's going to be this digit right here. And so I've got 0.41. Now, is that going to stay a 6 or go up to a 7? It's going to stay a 6 because the next digit is less than 5. And here it is rounded to the nearest thousand. To the nearest tenth, I'm going to choose to round the 4. And the 4 is going to the nearest tenth. the 4 is going to remain a 4 also. We're not going up on either one of those because the next digit is less than 5. Anything 5 or greater, I'm going to round it up. Now that's it. Now, this lesson is not due until Thursday. You have a test tomorrow. Oh, here comes my dog. You have a test tomorrow, and in the morning, I will give you a little video tutorial on how we're going to take the test. We're actually going to have a multiple choice test, and it's going to be done in LMS. So we'll get to that tomorrow. This assignment is not due until Thursday. So have a great day. And you see the tail. I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.